Hello, everybody, and welcome to an episode Muy Picante y Especial. Today, I'm going to take you south of the border to cut up jalapeños. So, how do you pick out a good jalapeno? Just like a bell pepper, you want to squeeze it. It should be firm and not give it all. Some bad things you could see would be maybe like a black or brown spots that could indicate that it's rotting, or if it's not firm. These do tend to have a lot of dents on them, like you can see some dents here. That's just because of how they're shipped. They come in a great big box in bulk, so the dents aren't really something to worry about. So you might have noticed I had a bunch of stuff here. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a rubber glove, and we want to put this on or wash your hands really good after, because when I filmed the first attempt on this a few days ago, I went and rubbed my eye and I had a little cut on my hand that I didn't know about, and so I didn't follow my own advice, and then I got to have this nice burning sensation for several hours. Another thing I've got here is a citrus zester, and this is just a fun little trick I saw at a sushi place in town. They had gone and zested the peel of this, and that way these nice little ribbons to put on the sushi, and that was cool because it gave it a little bit of the jalapeno flavor and a little bit of heat without a ton of it. The other thing is a paring knife. So some people ask me, do you really need to use a big chef's knife on all these vegetables? Well, say I have something like this, right? So if I'm going to cut this lengthwise, I want to be able to move my knife a little bit. So if I started with this one here, it's already as long as the pepper is. So I'm going to hit the bolster of the knife, which is this part right here, right at the beginning, and that's not going to cut very well. For detail work, this is fine, but for doing any kind of big long slices, that's why you would use the chef's knife. So how to cut one of these up? So the first thing we want to do is just slice it lengthwise and try and do it in a somewhat symmetrical shape. This one's straight, but some of these are curved, so you'll want to sort of do your best. So now that we've cut that in half, we have a decision to make. The spiciness in these comes from these ribs, the light green part, and the seeds. So if you want to moderate the amount of heat, you can remove those, or you could just use less of them. So the way to do that, and I'm going to do that just for a demonstration, this also shows you a good use of a paring knife. I'm going to set it on the board so that it's more stable, and then I'm just going to cut the ribs out like this. I'm going to cut down this side, I'm going to cut the end off, and now that should come out fairly easily. And then I would knock out any seeds like this right here. There's just one left. So that was pretty good. But if you want, you can leave all that in. It's just going to be spicier. Then how do we dice this up? So this is a little trick here. The outside of the jalapeno or any pepper is way tougher than the inside. So if I put it this way, which might be tempting because it's more flat that way and that gives me a little more stable base, that's fine, but even with a sharp knife that's going to be difficult. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to make my long strips this way so that I'm cutting into this easier to cut part of it. So let me do a demonstration. So that took a little more effort. I don't know if you could feel that, but I had to push a little harder before it would give. Whereas this way, it's easy peasy. Now, the challenge here is it rocks more. So you just got to do your best and not cut yourself. Actually, what you could do to make this rock less, I'm going to cut this into a longer section so it doesn't have as much of a curve to it. Now I can bring my hands in, curving my thumbs in, and then I've got another long section, and here I'm doing the same. So those are some real fine strips. You don't have to do it like that. It depends on your application. I just thought because of the heat and the size, I would make a little bit of a finer dice on this. So then you just want to line them up and cut them into your fine dice. I'm going to bring my fingers in now that I'm getting close to my hand. One of them escaped, and we'll make that a nice square. So there you go, people. A finely diced jalapeno. You know, if you got any ideas for other fruits or vegetables that you want to see, let me know. And have a good evening.